Day 304 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 118, Pascal's triangle. The difficulty level is medium, and so you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible. Now let's see what the question says. Or before we see what the question says though, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out that link in the description. Now let's see what the question says. Question says, given an integer array given an integer num's rows, return the first num's rows of the Pascal's triangle. In Pascal's triangle, each number is the sum of the two numbers directly above it as shown. So now that we've read the question, let's go ahead and take a look at these examples so that we can make sure we are doing the question correctly. So in example 1, we have the input num's rows equals 5. The output is a 2D array of integers, first array being 1, second array being 1, 1, next one being 1, 2, 1, next one being 1, 3, 3, 1, the last one being 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Now, as you can see, each one of these arrays inside of this initial 2D array, so like this array right here, these all represent different rows in the Pascal's triangle. So as you can see, this right here represents row 1, this right here represents row 2, this right here represents row 3, and so on and so on, right? So what we want to do is they're going to give us the input rows, and we want to return, or they're going to give us the input nums rows, and we want to return each row up to the nums row. So in this case, nums row is 5. We want to return each row of the Pascal's triangle up to row 5. As you can see, there are 5 rows in here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to return each row up to the 5th row, or up to the nums rows, whatever that may be. In this case, it's up to the 5th row. And what we want to do is, or what's important to understand is, each row, the element is going to be the sum of the two numbers directly above it, right? So in this case, as you can see, we starting right here at 2. The sum directly above 2 is 1 and 1. You add 1 plus 1, that gives you 2. Then we come down to the next row, right? So the first element is going to be 1. First and last element are always going to be 1 because it's 1 plus 0. So let's just start from the top. 1 plus 0 is going to give us 1, right? So that's the sum of these two. That's why these two are 1, because the elements above it, or the number above it, is 1. So 1 plus 0 will be 1 on this side. 1 plus 0 would be 1 on this side. Boom. Now we come down to the next row. This first row, there's no number on this side of the row, so that's going to be a 0, and this is a 1. So once again, it's 0 plus 1 will give us 1. Then we have these two numbers right here, right? So we add these two together. 1 plus 1 gives us 2, so we put a 2 right here. Then we come over to the third element in the row, and in this case, it's a 0 over here. So 1 plus 0 is going to give us 1 again. Boom. Then we come down to the next row. 1 plus 0 going to give us 1. Then 1 plus 2 gives us 3. Then 2 plus 1 gives us 3. Then 1 plus 0 is going to give us 1. Then we come back over here, do it again. 0 plus 1 equals 1. 1 plus 3 equals 4. 3 plus 3 equals 6. 3 plus 1 equals 4. And 1 plus 0 equals 1. So it's also important to understand the first and last element of each row will be a 1. Boom. So that's how the question works, y'all, and we have to return each row knowing that that's how the Pascal triangles works, and that's the math that they want us to compute, right? So once again, each number is the sum of the two numbers directly above it. So let's go ahead and take a look at example 2. In example 2, we have the input rows equals 1. And in this case, the output is just 1 because there is only one row, and the first row is going to be 1. So since the first row is 1, then the output will only have one array, which is 1 as well. So now that we understand the question, y'all, let's get into the fun part, actual solution. Solution is not that difficult, so let's get into it. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to initialize a 2D array with nums rows as the count of rows, or the count of empty arrays, sorry. So we're gonna initialize an array, right? To do that, we're gonna declare, we call it ands, declare variable called ands, boom, and we'll set that equal to a 2D array of integers. So say square bracket, integer. Come outside the square brackets, both of the square brackets, open up the parentheses, and we're gonna say repeating colon square bracket int. So it's gonna be a 2D array, right? So it's gonna be repeating an array of integers. Then we're gonna say the parentheses after that. Then we're gonna say count. Boom, and count is going to be whatever nums rows is, right? So nums rows is going to represent the number of arrays that we or the number of initial arrays that we start with, or empty arrays that we are initializing. So we'll say num rows, boom. So whatever nums rows is, right? Boom, 5. In this case, in example 1, nums rows is 5. That means we're gonna have 5 arrays, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Excuse me, and 5 right here. So that's why when we initialize it, our count of it's going to be a repeating array of integers, and it's going to be a count of whatever nums rows is, because that's going to get us all of the rows that we need. Boom. So after we do that, now we need to iterate through each row of the Pascal's triangle. So we could just use a for loop for that. We can say for I in 0 ... less than up to nums rows. Excuse me, y'all. This should be num rows, not nums rows. So we could remove this S from both of these. Sorry about that. Num rows. Boom. Then we can open up the brackets. Just like that. Now we need to initialize the current row with I plus 1 elements all set. We're going to set them all to 0 initially to start. So in order to do that, we can say and square bracket I. We'll set that equal to an array of integers. Boom. Open up the parentheses. This time it's going to be repeating colon 0, comma, count colon I plus 1. Just like that. Now we need to iterate through each element in the row. So in order to do that, so this is going to iterate through each row. Now we need to iterate through each element in the row. So for that, we could just say for j in 0 ... less than, so up to I plus 1, open up the brackets. And we are going to say the first and last element in each row will always be 1, right? So we could just say if j equals 0, or that vertical line, j equals I, then we could open up the brackets and we could just say I square bracket I and square bracket I square bracket j equals 1. Boom. Then we're going to say, come right here, we're going to say else. And now this is where we're going to compute the current value as the sum of the two elements above it. So for that, we're going to say and square bracket I, comma, square bracket j. Come outside those square brackets, sorry. We're going to say equals and square bracket I minus 1. Come outside that square bracket j minus 1. Come outside of that, we're going to say plus and square bracket I minus 1 square bracket j. Just like that. And now finally, we need to return a fully constructed Pascal's triangle. So in order to do that, we could just say, come right here, we could say return ands. Just like that, y'all. Now let's run it, see if we can get this first try. Let's see. And it's accepted. Look at that, y'all. First try. So let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it stays submitted after stays accepted after we submit it, and it does. Look at that, y'all. 0 milliseconds beats 100% of users with Swift, y'all. Y'all know those are some good numbers right there, and those are the numbers I love to see. So with that being said, y'all, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. I'll see y'all then.